NNE stock, the tiny energy company that could 10x and why no one believes it yet. You ever get that feeling like you're watching the next big thing before the rest of the world wakes up? Today, I'm going to show you a company that almost no one is paying attention to. But in a few years, people might say, why didn't I buy that when it was $34? Let's talk about nanonuclear energy. Even the name alone stops you in your tracks. It sounds like something out of a futuristic sci-fi film, but this isn't fiction. This is a real company with a real ticker trading right now. At the time of filming, it's sitting at a $980 million valuation. And what they're building? Micronuclear reactors, small enough to fit inside a shipping container. Yeah, you heard that right. Portable nuclear energy. Sounds insane, right? No revenue, no deployed units, and just this week, a major law firm launched an investigation into the company. That kind of headline would destroy most stocks, but what happened instead? Boom, plus 12% in a single day, and now everyone's asking the same thing. Wait, is this a real opportunity, or just another pump and dump hype play waiting to crash? Honestly, I had the exact same reaction, because if you've been in the market long enough, you start to get skeptical. You've seen wild promises before. You've seen the rug pulls. You've watched the retail crowd get left holding the bag. So, I did what I always do when something seems too good or too crazy to be true. I dug deeper. Because here's the thing most people never tell beginners. Every explosive stock, every 10x opportunity that starts off looking ridiculous. Tesla looked insane. Bitcoin looked like a scam. Amazon was bleeding cash and laughed off Wall Street for years. But the people who made life-changing money, they didn't buy hype. They didn't buy hope. They bought conviction. They looked past the noise and studied the truth underneath. And that's exactly what I did with nanonuclear energy. Because maybe it is just hype. But maybe, just maybe, this is one of those rare moments where the future is being built in front of us. And most people are too distracted to notice. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever felt like you're always a step behind? Like every time a stock takes off, it's already too late by the time you hear about it? Or maybe you've done everything right. You work hard. You save when you can. You try to be responsible. But no matter what, it feels like the wealth game just wasn't built for people like you. If you've ever had that quiet frustration, if you've ever thought, why did they always get in early and I'm always chasing? You are not alone. In this video, it's not just about nanonuclear energy, it's about something deeper. It's about finally flipping the script, finally spotting one of these 10x breakout opportunities before the world catches on, before the institutions scoop it up, before the headlines start shouting what we already knew. Because for once, this time, it doesn't have to be them who wins early. It can be you. Now let me be clear, I'm not here to sell you hype, false hope, or some get-rich-quick fantasy. Because here's the raw truth. Nanonuclear doesn't even have revenue yet. No product in the wild, no deals inked, nothing proven on paper. And just recently, a law firm dropped a headline about an investigation. For most people, that's an instant red flag. Game over. Close the tab. But here's what most beginner investors don't realize. These types of investigations pop up all the time, especially when a stock gains momentum. They're usually not SEC enforcement. They're not FBI raids. They're just law firms fishing for clients in case the stock ever dips. It's a scare tactic, and it works on people who don't know the game. But here's what shocked me. Even with that headline in the air, the stock jumped 12% in one day. That's not weakness. That's not fear. That's strength hiding in plain sight. And that's the moment when conviction investors, the ones who understand how these cycles work, start quietly moving in. Because here's a little truth no one tells beginners. When bad news hits and the price still climbs, that's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of something big. So I kept digging, because sometimes the truth is hidden just below the surface. And all it takes is one deeper look to flip your perspective. Here's what I found. They just raised $105 million in fresh capital. That's not retail hype money. That's institutional capital. And it brings their cash position to over $210 million on the balance sheet. That's a war chest for a company this small, especially one still in pre-revenue stages. But it gets better. Last month alone, they filed 6 new patents tied to their Zeus microreactor technology. Yes, they actually named their reactor Zeus. Not only are they thinking bold, they're protecting their edge. And then I saw this. They're in a strategic collaboration with MIT, one of the top scientific institutions on the planet. That's not just a vanity partnership, that's validation. But here's what sealed it for me. They just added Rick Perry, the former US Secretary of Energy, to their board of directors. Let that sink in. This isn't some basement Reddit play. This isn't a maybe they'll figure it out startup. This is a pre-commercial nuclear energy company with real government ties, patent-protected tech, Ivy League collaboration, and over $200 million in dry powder to execute. And somehow, it's flying completely under the radar right now. No screaming headlines, no viral TikToks, no retail frenzy, yet. And when you see this kind of setup, before the herd, that's where life-changing trades are born. Alright, now that you know the story, let's break down why this just triggered a trade the fear 10x setup. Because it's not just about the narrative, it's about the signals. Here's what the charts are screaming right now. RSI dropped below 30, then curled back up. That's one of our most reliable buy the dip signals. It shows the stock was temporarily oversold, and buyers are stepping back in with conviction. Next, we got a bounce off the lowest channel wick. For those new here, that means price dipped under our smooth momentum channel, then snapped back inside, confirming a bounce from accumulation. Then we saw the multi-RSI rise above 35. This is a momentum shift signal we love. It tells us that not only did buyers show up, but now momentum is turning in their favor. And look at the volume composition, over 70% green. That's not random noise, that's institutional footprints. Smart money doesn't shout, they accumulate quietly. And that's exactly what this pattern shows. And finally, from a Wyckoff perspective, we've likely just exited accumulation and are now entering the markup phase. That's when price finally starts moving up and away, after all the weak hands have been shaken out. Now I know what you might be thinking. I've heard setups before, I've seen charts like this before. What makes this different? Simple. Most people wait until it's obvious. By then, it's already priced in. But you're seeing this before the noise, before the headlines, before the breakout hits the masses. If you've ever said to yourself, I wish I knew about Tesla at $30, this might be that moment, but in a very different sector, one the world isn't watching yet. Now let me be clear, I'm not saying this is some magical, risk-free golden ticket. There's no such thing in investing. But based on our realistic 10x valuation calculator, not fantasy, not hopium, this is what we're looking at. Float, just 30 million shares. That's small. Low float means it takes very little buying pressure to move the stock, and when the big money steps in, it can rip hard. Market cap, just under $1 billion right now. That's tiny for the nuclear energy space, especially for a company aiming to reshape how the world powers remote grids, military bases, and disaster recovery zones. Now let's run the numbers. Let's say, in a few years, they hit $500 million in revenue, which is extremely doable if their tech works and contracts start landing. And let's give it a 10x price to sales multiple, which, by the way, is standard for disruptive energy and tech plays in early stages. You do the math, that puts their projected market cap at $5 billion. Divide that by 30 million shares, you get a stock price of roughly $116 plus. Now remember, at today's price, that's a legit 10x move. No hype, no fairy dust, just math plus macro narrative plus early timing. Because this is what real wealth building looks like. You find conviction, you enter early, and you let the market catch up to what you already saw coming. And here's the thing, most beginners never hear. You don't need to be first, you just need to be early and right. And this might be one of those rare moments. Here's the truth, no one wants to say out loud. Most people will miss this. They'll wait until it's on CNBC, until it's already up 5 times, until their friend texts them, or it hits their Robinhood top movers list. And by then, it'll feel safe, but the upside will already be gone, because most people aren't trained to see opportunity, they're trained to chase comfort. But if you're someone who's tired of being late, if you're done watching other people win while you sit on the sidelines, if you're ready to build wealth by owning early, not chasing late, then this channel, this movement, and was built for you. Because we don't follow the herd. We study the setups, we trust our conviction, and we act before it's obvious. Tap subscribe if you want to catch the next 10x plays before the crowd sees them. Grab the free starter guide at www.get100shares.com, and it's already helped the beginners get clarity, confidence, and real ownership. And drop a comment below. Do you believe in nuclear microreactors, or are you watching a different sector right now? This is the next 10x stocks powered by Trade the Fear. We help beginners discover 10x opportunities and finally build real wealth. Because nobody ever changed their life by playing it safe. They changed it by seeing the future and owning a piece of it.